The war is over, and the Titans have been cast into the depths of Tartarus. In their place, Zeus has established a rigid, unyielding hierarchy, securing absolute control over every corner of the cosmos. Under this new regime, the king of the gods demanded total obedience. While the divine order was being finalized, the Titan Prometheus was tasked with distributing biological traits to the creatures of Earth. He handed out fur, claws, and speed until the well ran dry, leaving the first humans completely naked, shoeless, and without any natural means of defense. Lacking the fangs of a wolf or the hide of a lion, humans were physically helpless. In Zeus's new universe, this fragile species was considered the lowest, most expendable tier of existence. But the Titan Prometheus, whose name signifies forethought, refused to let this new race perish. He began a clandestine project of biological engineering, mixing the raw earth and water with his own tears to create a binding clay. He manually pressed and stretched this wet mud, physically molding the specific anatomy of the fragile human form. Prometheus made a deliberate design choice. While animals were built to look down at the dirt, he gave humans an upright posture. He engineered their frames so they could lift their heads and look directly at the stars. This unauthorized creation created an immediate rift. Zeus viewed these star-gazing mortals as a threat to be exterminated, marking the start of a long-term battle between divine authority and human survival. The first act of direct sabotage took place at Mechane during a sacrificial feast meant to divide the world's resources. Prometheus slaughtered a great ox and prepared two distinct piles, setting a deliberate trap to deceive the king of Olympus. He placed the nourishing, edible meat inside a repulsive stomach lining. Beside it, he stacked the useless bones, but wrapped them in a layer of rich, glistening fat to make them look like the prize portion. Zeus chose the pile of fat and bones. When the trick was revealed, his retaliation was immediate. He enacted a total embargo on fire, leaving the mortal world to freeze in absolute darkness. Prometheus had won the right for humans to eat the best meat, but that victory was hollow if the species was condemned to die in the first winter without heat. To break the embargo, Prometheus infiltrated Olympus, stealing a single spark of the god's unwearying fire right from the hearth of the heavens. To smuggle the fire back to Earth, he relied on the unique anatomy of a giant fennel plant. The plant's hollow, pithy stalk acted as a natural, slow-burning fuse. It contained just enough oxygen to keep the ember alive without consuming the exterior, allowing Prometheus to deliver the forbidden technology into human hands. Fire was more than a heat source. It was the master catalyst. With it, Prometheus began his role as humanity's first instructor, teaching them how to use heat to transform their environment. Starting from the flame, Prometheus bridged the gap to abstract sciences. Fire led to metallurgy, providing tools for architecture and astronomy. These disciplines formed an integrated system. Math and writing allowed humans to record discoveries, creating a self-sufficient civilization. To ensure they wouldn't be paralyzed by the fear of their own end, Prometheus gave them one final psychological gift: blind hopes. This was a specific mental block designed to replace the dread of mortality with a drive to build for the future. With the capacity for metallurgy, the precision of astronomy, and the hope to ignore death, Prometheus turned a weak species into a rival for the throne of Olympus. Zeus's patience finally broke. For the theft of fire and the empowerment of man, he ordered a punishment that would be both eternal and visible to all. Prometheus was dragged to a jagged summit in the Caucasus Mountains, a place of extreme altitude and total isolation. The torture was designed as a closed biological loop. Each day, an eagle arrived to feast on the Titan's liver. Each night, his immortal body regenerated the tissue, ensuring that his agony would never conclude. This public display of brutality was intended to be the ultimate deterrent, a warning that any challenge to the divine status quo would be met with a pain that reset every 24 hours. But Prometheus held a secret that Zeus desperately needed. Through his forethought, he knew of a prophecy. If Zeus fathered a child with the goddess Thetis, that son would grow to be greater than his father and seize the throne. By withholding this secret, the Titan turned his mountain prison into a stalemate. Zeus was eventually forced to trade the Titan's freedom for the prophecy. He allowed the hero Heracles to climb the mountain, kill the eagle, and shatter the adamant chains. The Titan had accomplished exactly what Zeus feared. By providing the fire of the forge and the internal hope to ignore their own mortality, he ensured that the human race was no longer a temporary experiment, but a permanent, self-determining fixture of the cosmos.